The back pass revolution, Harold Schumacher, and the goalkeeper. In the early 1990s, football was undergoing a decisive transformation, especially regarding the role of the goalkeeper. Up to that point, keepers were allowed to pick up the ball with their hands at any time, even when it was deliberately passed back to them by a teammate. This seemingly minor rule led to a major tactical issue: time wasting. Teams in the lead, or those trying to preserve a draw, would repeatedly pass the ball back to the goalkeeper. The keeper would then hold onto it briefly with their hands, slowing the game down. This became a source of frustration for opponents, spectators, and disrupted the overall flow of the match. Harold Schumacher, an exceptional goalkeeper known for his clever playing style, was a master at exploiting this rule. With his calm demeanor and deep understanding of the game, he could not only waste time, but also disrupt the rhythm of the opposing team. Opponents and coaches frequently complained to FIFA that the game was losing its appeal and excitement because of such tactics. In response, FIFA introduced the now famous back pass rule in 1992. This rule stated that goalkeepers were no longer allowed to handle the ball if it was deliberately played back to them by a teammate. This change revolutionized goalkeeping and fundamentally altered how the position was played. No longer just a shot stopper, the goalkeeper now had to become a sweeper keeper, capable of playing with their feet as well as their hands. The pressure on goalkeepers increased dramatically. They now had to participate in the build-up play, deliver accurate passes, and react quickly to counterattacks. This changed the tactics of many teams. The game became faster, more offensive, and more dynamic. Goalkeepers like Schumacher had to develop new skills. A new type of player emerged: the proactive goalkeeper, who operates far outside the penalty area and actively supports the defense. Today, this role is taken for granted, but it all began with this rule change in the 1990s. The headbutt attack, Dejan Savicevic, and the protection of offensive players. Football in the 1970s and 80s was notorious for its physical toughness. Aggressive challenges, brutal tackles, and hard fouls were commonly used to neutralize technically gifted and creative attacking players. Dejan Savicevic, a Serbian midfield magician with extraordinary technique, was the epitome of this kind of endangered player. Savicevic frequently became the target of reckless fouls that went far beyond what the rules permitted. His dribbling and quick ball control often left defenders desperate, leading them to respond with excessive aggression. These fouls not only endangered players' health, but also disrupted the flow and beauty of the game. This situation led to growing debate over the protection of so-called vulnerable players, particularly those who possess the ball often and showcase technical brilliance. Organizations like UEFA and FIFA began issuing new guidelines to punish rough play more consistently. By the mid-1990s, there was a heightened emphasis on protecting technically skilled players from unnecessary violence. Referees were instructed to penalize tactical fouls, excessive aggression, and dangerous tackles more strictly and without hesitation. This shift marked a turning point in football. The focus moved away from brute force toward technique, creativity, and fairness. The sport became more appealing for spectators and safer for players. Figures like Savicevic are now remembered not only as footballing legends, but also as symbols of a new era in which talent and joy in the game triumphed over raw physicality. The handball dilemma, Maradona and the hand of God. One of the most iconic moments in football history is Diego Maradona's hand of God goal at the 1986 World Cup in Mexico. In the quarterfinal against England, Maradona scored a goal by using his hand to knock the ball into the net, a clear violation of the rules, which the referee failed to see, allowing the goal to stand. This incident sparked a global debate about fairness, rule clarity, and the limitations of human refereeing. Many fans were outraged, while others admired Maradona's cunning. In response, FIFA felt compelled to clarify the handball rule and equip referees with stricter guidelines on how to assess such situations. In the long term, the hand of God was a catalyst for technological advancements in football. It revealed how human error in crucial match situations could dramatically alter outcomes. Decades later, this led to the introduction of the Video Assistant Referee, or VAR. VAR was implemented to reduce errors and bring greater fairness to the game. Although Maradona's goal stood at the time, it fundamentally changed how football handles controversial situations. It stands as a prime example of how a single event can influence rule books and lead to the adoption of new technologies. The Bosman ruling, Jean-Marc Bosman, and the revolution of player freedom. While many rule changes directly affected gameplay, some off-field developments reshaped the sport just as profoundly. The 1995 Bosman ruling was one such milestone. Jean-Marc Bosman, a Belgian footballer, took his case to the European Court of Justice, challenging his club and the existing transfer system. At the time, even after a player's contract expired, clubs still required a transfer fee for the player to move. This severely limited player freedom and reinforced club power. The court ruled in Bosman's favor. Players were free to change clubs without a transfer fee once their contracts expired. This landmark decision transformed football business practices. For the first time, players gained real contractual freedom and control over their careers. Simultaneously, the power dynamic shifted, with players and their agents gaining much more influence. Today, fans benefit from this change, as we see international stars moving freely between top clubs. At the same time, the ruling led to a significant rise in player salaries and fundamentally changed the transfer market. The Bosman ruling is widely seen as the foundation of modern professional football. The tackle crackdown, Claudio Gentile, and the end of brutality in football. Claudio Gentile was one of the most famous and controversial defenders of the 1970s. His uncompromising, rough style of play, often targeting key opponents like Maradona with reckless tackles, was both feared and criticized. This style of defending prompted a reevaluation of the rules. Governing bodies responded with stricter punishments for dangerous tackles, especially those from behind or with a high risk of injury. Overly aggressive challenges were now more frequently punished with red cards and suspensions. This marked the beginning of an important development. Player protection became a top priority. While fair competition remained essential, player safety was now paramount. These rule changes saved many careers and led to a more technical and safer style of play. Today, it is unimaginable that the kinds of fouls common in Gentile's era would be tolerated. The emphasis is now on clean tackles and preventing injuries, a shift that was, in part, spurred by Gentile's aggressive playing style. The VAR revolution, Thierry Henry, and technology in football. Thierry Henry, one of the most technically gifted players of his generation, was often at the center of controversial refereeing decisions. These situations led to intense debates among fans and pundits alike. Such incidents played a major role in the development and eventual introduction of the video assistant referee, or VAR. Initially, VAR was highly controversial. Critics feared it would rob the game of its spontaneity and magic. But over time, VAR established itself as a vital tool that reduces errors and promotes fairness. Today, VAR is used for goals, penalty decisions, red cards, and cases of mistaken identity. While not every decision is flawless, VAR has significantly transformed football and demonstrated how technology and tradition can coexist. The handball clarification, the 2020s, and the quest for clarity. Handball remains one of the most debated and complex rules in football. Especially in the 2020s, controversies flared over correct interpretations, such as unintentional handball in the penalty area, or goals involving hand contact. FIFA responded by introducing a clearer definition of handball, explicitly distinguishing between intentional and unintentional actions. The aim was to reduce misjudgments and make the rule more transparent. Despite these clearer definitions, borderline cases still spark debate. Players, referees, and fans continued to passionately discuss the sense and application of the handball rule. This evolution shows how essential ongoing rule adjustments are in keeping the game fair and engaging.